Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Revisiting Disney. This is the series in which I sort of play armchair Imagineer. I pick a pavilion or a ride or a restaurant or a hotel, or you guys pick it and suggest it, and I sort of play armchair Imagineer and talk about what I would do if I was forced to sort of re-theme it or replace it or just do something different with it. And it doesn't always mean that it's something I want to see change in real life. Usually it's just a fun creative exercise to try and look at the attractions that we all know and love in the real Disney World in a new and exciting way. And it's a cool way of like breaking down the essence of some of these attractions and trying to find new ways to take that theme and represent it in a new attraction. Today we're here in Epcot and World Showcase, and we're doing something a little interesting because in the past I did World Showcase as a whole because I wanted to sort of revamp all of that. But today we're going to focus on one pavilion, and I'm not going to actually be revisiting the entire pavilion. I'm just going to be revisiting the attraction in the pavilion, and this is actually only one of two. Well, I guess currently one pavilions with an attraction, but two once the Frozen one in Norway opens up. But yeah, if you haven't guessed it already, we're going to be revisiting the Grand Fiesta Tour starring the Three Caballeros. Now, if you've never been on the Grand Fiesta Tour starring the Three Caballeros, it's pretty neat. It is a slow boat tour, and it is a ride designed to sort of introduce you and show you a little bit of the culture of Mexico. And that's what these pavilions are all intended to do, right? Whether there's an attraction there or a show or just some restaurants, the whole idea is you're supposed to get a feel for what the actual country is like and what their unique culture is like. And what's interesting about this one, aside from the fact that it's only one of two rides, is that this stars Donald Duck and as part of the Three Caballeros. And the Three Caballeros was an older animated film that was put out after Walt Disney's tour to Latin America. And so it was fitting that you had these three characters here in Mexico, and it was a fun little ride. It's not a sort of e-ticket attraction you need to go on, but it's a great way to get out of the sun. It's a great way to relax. Maybe you're waiting for your reservation at one of the restaurants here in Mexico. But it's a fun attraction. And thinking about how to revisit this was very interesting because I think the core of it sort of is limiting. And that's not a bad thing, right? It's a ride about showing you the culture of Mexico. There's really not much you're going to mix up with this. This doesn't have the space for a thrill ride, right? The thrill ride would sort of shoot through here in like less than a minute. You don't want to change the theme from Mexican culture because then why is it in the Mexican pavilion? So like, how do you change it up? And so I think really what I ended up realizing was it boils down to changing the skin of the ride, right? Changing what you're riding through, changing the characters you encounter. And yes, sadly, removing the Three Caballeros, including Donald Duck. But it actually didn't take long for me to think of a great replacement. At first, I was trying to think of movies or TV shows that sort of had a Mexican theme to them that might be fitting. But then I realized there's one show that sort of crosses many themes. And in fact, I believe the pilot episode was something that would do well in the French pavilion. And that is the new Mickey Mouse series that's been on. And if you haven't seen it, oh my gosh, you should go watch it. I think you can watch them for free online. I think you can pick up the whole season on iTunes for like $2 or $3. They're done by one of the old producers of, I think, the Powerpuff Girls. They are amazing because they are gorgeous. The art style is amazing. The storytelling is fantastic because they are very simplistic and they are a modern version of what I think was the spirit of the older Mickey Mouse cartoons and shorts. And I think that would be a great property to use for a revamp of the Grand Fiesta Tour. Keep it in Mexico, keep it about the Mexican culture, but replace, Donald Duck and the rest of the Three Caballeros with Mickey and Goofy and Donald. I guess you could bring Donald back and all of the other characters, but have it in that style and have the art of this attraction completely revamped to match this very unique and very gorgeous art style from the series. And what I think would be really cool, and I don't think we've really seen this, at least not to my knowledge, I would love to see it all on a scale that allows you to live in this world in full scale, right? We watch cartoons on a TV for the most part. Some people, I think more so now than ever, we're watching them on a tablet or a cell phone. So we're seeing these cartoons on very tiny screens. So there's a very jarring but really cool, draw to the idea of seeing this cartoon world in full scale, real size Mickey, real size Goofy. And I think you could play with a lot of cool projection mapping technology to have it, have this fluid animation to it. We think of Disney attractions with characters and you think of like the very robotic animatronics, and they're getting smoother, but those are 3-dimensional. You think of 2-dimensional, they're usually cutouts that move in a limited manner. But now you could have these elaborate screens where you can have these animated characters moving, in real time. You have this, this quote unquote hologram technology that you saw them do with, performers like Tupac or Michael Jackson, where they're on stage performing. It looks like they're there in full screen. You could use those sort of old school tricks to project maybe Mickey and Goofy running around Mexico and going on a wacky adventure. And I think it's okay to be less educational in this sense. I know Epcot's supposed to be an educational pavilion or an educational park, and these pavilions are supposed to be educational. But I think, considering Mickey Mouse is more of a entertainment show, I think it would be great to have just sort of like a fun adventure. And I think that would actually make this a more desirable ride to go on. Let's face it, as much as it's cool to learn at Epcot, people don't go there specifically to learn. And so I think if you could give people a taste of what Mexican culture is like, while at the same time giving them a fun and entertaining, essentially, the ride length is like 5 or 6 minutes. That's how long these shorts are. So you can actually write and animate and direct a short that you're seeing play out in 3D, in real space, in full scale. I think that'd be so amazing and so cool and unique. And I think it would really give this pavilion, and specifically the ride, a good shot in the arm. I love the Three Caballeros. I grew up watching that film, but it's a pretty old animated film. And I think younger viewers would be much closer to, resonating with this new modern Mickey Mouse cartoon than the Three Caballeros. So there you have it. That's my idea for what I would do with the Grand Fiesta Tour starring the Three Caballeros. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Maybe you think it's a great idea. Maybe you hate that cartoon. You don't want to see that. Maybe you have a whole other idea for this ride that you've never gotten to tell anybody. Let us know in the comments below. If there's a ride or attraction or hotel or restaurant you want to see me revisit, also feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'm running out. I'm getting really close to running out of attractions. My rule of thumb is I will not revisit something that I haven't ridden personally in real life yet. And so that means no new Fantasyland stuff yet. That means no Disneyland stuff. But the good news is later this summer, I'm going to Disneyland. I'm going to Disney World. I'm going to ride all that stuff, and then I'll be able to revisit all of that stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to let me know as well on Twitter, I'm at RobPlays. Whatever you do this week, make the most of it because it makes it that much better. And I hope to see you all next time for the next episode of Revisiting Disney. Bye, everybody.